Hey everyone,
What's up?
the world is currently ending over here, but that ain't gonna keep us from seeing the new Wes Anderson movie.
Yep, the newest entry by Hipster Jesus and his, well, now technically it's a growing genre of his stop motion animation. Yes, Wes Anderson brings us the Isle of Dogs, and was there even a "the" in the title?
Nope.
So yeah, we just have Isle of Dogs, stop motion animated movie about a dog version of the Holocaust. That's very much what it felt like.
Okay, when we describe the plot of this movie, it's going to sound like a really dopey ass kids movie. What it is that the mayor of Nagasaki,
Megasaki. It's basically just a big Japanese city.
well, it's a real city, Nagasaki.
No, they didn't say Naga. They spelt it out Mega, MEG.
I swear it said Nagasaki.
Nope. Well,
Okay.
my God, smite me if I'm wrong, but
Well, all right. Regardless, okay, so big Japan city. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call it Nagasaki. But the mayor is a cat lover. He loves cats, hates dogs. So what does he do?
his entire family and bloodline is loving cats. And what does he do?
He basically decrees that all dogs be put on a trash island off the coast of Japan for forever. Just like dump them there like trash, let them die.
His reasoning behind it is that there has been some disease that only affects dogs and it can possibly affect humans. So, and well, again, for the convenience of the plot, it's just kick the dogs off of our island and send into a bigger shithole. But they do show at points that they're trying to create a dog serum that to try and cure the disease.
Well, yeah, like doing it. I should mention this does take place in 20 years into the future.
Future movie.
Yeah, so
This is actually the second future movie we've seen together in a row.
oh yeah, I guess so.
That and Ready Player One.
To be honest, I think this is a more conceivable future than Ready Player One.
Well, yes, I would agree.
Okay, but regardless, I guess everyone in Japan hates dogs because they comply with this without question.
They're just fucking stupid. That's the only, or they're oblivious.
Well, seriously, no one here's like, you're not sending my dog away. But actual owners do ship their dogs off to this island. They, with their collars and everything, they tell stories about what it was like, living with their masters and everything. And it's just, wow. Again, it sounds like a dopey ass concept, but they make it very bleak. I mean, the opening of the movie is him saying, "It's like my dog will be the first to go," and they send him to the island in his cage still, and sitting there in the junk pile in his cage. I'm just like, so is anyone gonna come unlock it? Is it just gonna let him die in there?
Will something funny happen at least?
It's like, no. For as far as we know, no, that doesn't happen. And so I think to myself, holy shit. It's like right off the bat, it gets dark. But the plot from there on out, again, still just like Fantastic Mr. Fox, seems like it would be in traditionally, it would be a dopey kids movie. It would be fun, happy-go-lucky, and it wouldn't have any death or threat of death, I guess, or anything dark like that. But under the direction of Wes Anderson, holy shit, does it become a different movie. A different animal, if you will. But I really dug this movie, though.
I can definitely understand why you would. I enjoyed it too, but mostly just for the visuals as well as the creativity of Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson, by the way, okay, I like his work. I really like his work. I've only seen 3 Wes Anderson movies. He's only seen 2, but from what we've liked every single movie that he's made. I've seen Moonrise Kingdom, and we both have seen Grand Budapest and Fantastic Mr. Fox. And
Fantastic Mr. Fox, in particular, was like just a what the hell is this kind of movie. But then, as time went on, I learned to appreciate it more and more because of just how different it is. And even to this day, there really is not any movie like Fantastic Mr. Fox, and there's really not going to be any movie like Isle of Dogs for as far as I can tell.
Please tell me that you know that Fantastic Mr. Fox was originally a book, right?
I do know that.
Okay, thank
I know
God.
it's based on a book. But the way that they don't tell me it's a faithful adaptation of the book.
Well, actually, I do think it is, but that is a rare case where you can still respect almost 100% of the source material, but you can still be creative and add new things to it.
Well,
you can expand because it's bigger than paper. It's visual and audio, I guess, but
in terms of its general premise, but like I said, under the direction of Wes Anderson, it's something else entirely different.
That was something I liked about. Well, okay, the storytelling and the handling with Wes Anderson, personally, I think was better in Fantastic Mr. Fox than this. A bit of the story that we didn't get into is that we follow this pack of 5 dogs, consisting of the voices of Bryan Cranston, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum. Edward Norton, and who the hell was the 5th one? Some part of me wants to think it's Bob Balaban. I could be wrong.
I don't remember. There are a lot of celebrity voices in here.
There's a lot of voices.
Which admittedly, but I mean, I like it. I mean, I like their performances, but at the same time, it does kind of irritate me with this overall trend of not getting voice actors to do voice acting.
That is very true. It's just famous people. But okay, they don't let their egos or voice performances take away from the story though.
Right.
So
I mean, I'm not saying it sounds bad. It's usually it sounds fine. It's just that, again, voice actors, this is the kind of stuff that they train for. This is the kind of stuff of what they what they're meant to do, and yet they don't.
It's their primary craft.
They don't get a chance to do it. That's what irritates me.
I think they might be saved more for television stuff, but we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
Although, okay, for me, it was all the voices, the celebrity voices, distracting. You're trying to think, oh, who's that? Oh, who's that? As opposed to just focusing on the story.
I mean, for me, the most recognizable voice was Bryan Cranston's.
I had to figure him out before anything. The first 2 that I recognized, Bill Murray and Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay. I didn't really think much of that. But I mean, again, they all kind of fit their characters. They were all enjoyable. The writing kind of kept them in check. Okay, so going a little bit further into the plot, what ends up happening is that the nephew of the mayor of Nagasaki,
adopted
nephew. Well, obviously he doesn't like the fact that his dog was shipped off onto an island for dead.
Gee, I wonder why.
So he steals a plane, I think.
He steals a plane
and flies it to the island in an attempt of looking for his dog. And I guess it goes the way of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid, where he gets a part of the plane lodged in his head, and it just, again,
it just stays there.
This would never happen in a kids movie. But,
and they also
when he crashes the plane, the dogs are like, okay, so what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's take his helmet off and let's see if we can pull out that thing out of his head without killing him. Yeah, that sounds about right. He pulls it out anyway. Blood starts dripping down from his head, and then he just falls over.
But yeah,
and I think they put it back in.
I don't know
because it's in there. It's in there for the whole movie.
Yeah, it still stays in. But yeah, the kid ends up following this pack of dogs, and yeah, strangely enough, the kid is actually more enticed by the obligatory stray dog, voiced by Cranston.
Yeah. Chief.
Yeah, his name is Chief. For some reason, this kid is obligated to like this one dog who isn't supposed to be liked. Granted, the only time they do actually build a relationship once they're split up from the main group.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, one of my problems with this is the character arc and the character storytelling of Chief. He is very, for me, he's very blatantly obvious about where his character is gonna like make his mental turns, when he's gonna change. And it's sort of the same problem that I have with, well, I think I might have explained it in How to Be Single. I'm not saying that this movie even relates to that, but it's the concept of trying to make your character deep by just describing how like obvious they are, and well, how obvious of a character type they are, but just doing the predictable thing and pulling a complete 180. Oh, I've learned and I've changed my ways and I'm happy. That was one thing that did get on my nerves. But what makes up for it is the amount of atmosphere and the amount of sentimentality that Wes Anderson can actually provide for the screen, as well as supporting factors in his movies.
We should talk for a second too. This movie is very different style of. It takes place in Japan. Everyone speaks Japanese, and all the translation you hear is contextualized. It doesn't use subtitles. Well, save for one point at the end of the movie where it does for no particular reason, which kind of stood out to me. But everything else is like he really does go for authenticity.
Yes.
In terms of setting this in Japan. The dogs speak English. I'm guessing that's done purely for the audience. Like they have this thing at the beginning of this text that says everyone speaks in their native tongue. The translation is all contextualized. You know, it's translated by actual, characters in the movie or by machines. But
barks are translated in English.
And that barks are translated in English. I guess that's meta just for the sake of the movie. But the one thing that irritated me was that these dogs we know are from Japan. So at one point the kids speaking, he's speaking Japanese obviously, and one of the dogs like, "Man, I wish somebody knew his language." It's like, you guys don't know Japanese? You've lived in Japan all your life. Your masters are Japanese. How do you not know? I mean, I don't know if it's going as far to say that they don't speak human. That would make sense, but clearly they do. Like they know what they're saying. Some dogs do know what they're saying and others don't. I guess it kind of depends on where you come from, how you were trained. It's all over the place. But again, it's very interesting how it's so dedicated to its culture.
Yes. And commenting on what you're saying about it's not necessarily Wes Anderson like making up for any flaws in the movie, but yes, the authenticity and his greatest strength, arguably, is the attention to detail that he has. There's a reason that he's considered hipster Jesus, and it's because that he actually takes effort and tries putting every single detail on the screen, specificity, authenticity, blah blah blah-icity. He does go for every perfect, he tries to go for every perfect visual note and at least makes whatever you're looking at interesting to look at. He gives it size, scale, texture, and even in the scenes that I don't want to say it makes the movie seem cheap, but it makes it more simple. It's simple while also just visually telling you a story. That's what his fan base thrives for. And at points I've thought some of his live action movies have seemed kind of predictable, but at least he's keeping to a formula that's good. He's keeping to a consistently good formula, and granted, it does. The factor of that does work here, but yeah, again, some of the other things. Oh, another bit that annoyed me about Chief and Atari.
Yes, the kid's name is Atari. We should mention that.
The kid's. Well, did you see the Atari I swear I thought I saw the actual Atari symbol on his jacket, where it said Atari.
I didn't remember seeing that.
I wanted them to try and make that like joke or whatever, but so when
Apparently Atari has a resurgence in 2040,
I guess
just like in Blade Runner.
that's true. Well, they also got to wait another 9 years before they get sexy Ryan Gosling.
I guess so.
But
well, no, they're busy. They're busy making robots. See, they got. I guess in America they're dealing with replicants. In Japan they're dealing with robot dogs.
Them and Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
There you go.
But one of the things that annoyed me about Chief and Atari is that Chief starts off, he's a black dog, and we're just supposed to believe that's his original hair color. And yeah, that goes with being a stray. He's dirty. But the first thing that Atari does as like a nice act for this, again, hardened, like, tough dog, gives him a bath, and he changes a complete coat. He's white with like random black spots. There wasn't any rain that like happened over the island. There wasn't a single bit of water. They even said they had sewer water like on the island. So not one bit of water like touched him and washed off any bit of the black. So, and it's a big shock to him, like, oh, I'm a different color. Wait, I'm blah 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 blah. That's and okay, when the other dogs go back home and their owners and they're back with their owners, I'm assuming those owners would have given them baths but none of them changed color. So yeah, that was one thing that bugged me. But again, this movie is so interesting to look at.
Everything about it, you don't really expect what they're going to do. You kind of can figure out the plot overall, but you don't know how it's going to be handled, how far they're going to take things, and just what's going to be funny and what's just going to be shocking. Holy shit, that was dark kind of moments. And that's another thing I should mention. This movie is genuinely funny, and that's glowing praise when it comes from me.
There were handfuls of funny bits, but he was actually laughing more than me.
Yeah, I think Wes Anderson handles dry humor very well, and again, that's exactly what we got here. It's very, very dry humor. Sometimes, again, depends on how it's done. Sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it. It's all in the execution, and in this case, I think it works really well.
In your opinion, as opposed to The Office.
Well, I haven't seen much, if any, of The Office really, so I don't know. One of the funnier bits too is when they get separated and they're on this conveyor belt system designed to move trash around. It's like you should jump to crap. How did the scene go? It's like. What are you guys doing? What do you think we're doing? We're riding this thing. You think we got a travel agent? It's like, you should jump down here. Where? Here? When? Now? Why? What? It's done very well. The actor, the writing, the pacing, the actors, it all works. The animation.
I think that just goes down to the animation and the directing, because animation, directing, and writing, because they would have had to like write out the timing of those responses in the script. But yeah, that part was actually genuinely funny.
I also laughed too at the pug too.
Yeah. So okay, pugs for you are like chickens for me.
Yeah, pugs are very funny to me to look at.
They're funny looking.
But this pug too, again, is so
called the Oracle. I wanted you to make a Matrix reference to that.
Well, this thing is like glued to they call it the Oracle because this dog is just glued to the TV, and
I can understand what they're saying.
And it keeps telling them that whatever it sees from there, it's really funny. Oh crap, what was I going to talk about? Yeah, okay. God, I don't know what else we could say without really spoiling it.
Well, we're not even necessarily spoiling anything, because this story actually, personally, I didn't think this story was like
like I said, it seems like it'd be a dopey ass kids movie, but it's the fact that Wes Anderson's direction makes it into something entirely different. Very enjoyable, very funny, very different. And I think different is the key word here, because for me, I am desperate for animated movies that dare to be different, that try to be something greater than themselves. It's so refreshing for me to say that I don't think kids would like this movie very much. I really wouldn't show it to them for all the dark stuff that happens in it either. But that, if you're an adult, if you're a dog lover, you like dry humor, you like movies that with, some kind of artistry and, that's my thing, is that it's a different kind of animated movie, and I love that. I love seeing that. It's rare we get movies like that, but that's why I try to support them when I can. I mean, hell, I even went to go see Sausage Party despite knowing that I probably wasn't going to like that. I ended up coming out liking it more than I thought I would, but
because it had balls.
because it went fucking insane at the end.
But it's different.
But again, yeah, it is different.
And Wes Anderson does have balls of steel to be able to continue his style, as well as
this movie's not very marketable. Despite being all about dogs, you can't really market this towards kids.
Yes, I absolutely would agree with that. And there is sort of this hope that animation will try and actually take a mature turn, as opposed to it just being an entire marketing division for children.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like animated movies that are marketed towards kids, but I do wish that they would try to be at least somewhat more better made.
Okay, I go down to this as being for a more mature audience, one that this lets you put a lot of the pieces together. Again, what they don't bluntly tell you. It tries to go for adult themes, like the idea of euthanasia, captivity.
Adult humor.
Adult humor as well, and very realistic and I don't want to say this movie is cynical, but it doesn't pull any punches when it tries to display seriousness.
Right. I mean, a lot of these, they do make clear that a lot of these dogs have to practically eat each other just to survive.
Yep, and again, these people just let this happen, because of cats and dogs. And for me, that made the villain. I told him this after we saw it. The whole idea of just the mayor or whatever, the powerful figure, is a cat person, completely opposite. For me, that makes the villain seem a bit petty, as opposed to having deeper motivations and actual character traits. Nope, I'm just a gigantic guy who hates dogs.
Let's be honest. In a realistic scenario, unless he was king of the world, I don't think he could convince Japan. Let's get rid of all our dogs.
He must be some damn good negotiator.
I guess so, because even when they straight up say we can just find a cure for whatever this dog flu is, and then everyone can keep their dogs and everything, and it's like, fuck that, just get rid of the dogs.
Fuck all of them.
Yeah, and then let's shut down all the dog food corporations and dog treats people, and it's just wow. And I mean, again, normally I would hate that for being just stupid, and in a standard dopey kids movie that would just be very forced and derivative. But in this movie, they actually take it to the extreme and think, okay, now dogs are starving, now dogs can't survive, and like we said, it's almost like a dog holocaust. This is a dog lover's dream and worst nightmare at the same time.
The dogs of Japan will be no longer a threat. They will not poison our food, and they will not make us weaker.
He doesn't sound like that in the movie, but that's okay.
At least I tried. No. But okay, I want to. Okay,
That's my. Can I just close my thing out saying that's my recommendation. I like this movie because I like Wes Anderson's stop motion movies. I like animated movies that dare to be different. I like good animated movies. This is all three of those. So, yeah,
okay,
I say if you watch the trailers and you think it looks very dreary. Yes, the film does look dreary, but they use that dreariness to its advantage and create something very enjoyable out of it.
I will not disagree with you at all in saying that this was not a good animated movie. It's still a very competently made animated movie, but this is where I wanted to bring in like a base comparison with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I love Fantastic Mr. Fox, but unfortunately that's also because I had a bias in that I actually read the book before I saw the movie. But what I loved about that was, again, I was telling you that it expanded on its material and it was able to be creative with that. And well, even though you already knew the story of that movie, you could still be enticed by the surprises and the twists and turns that the story takes, that even though it's still faithful to the book, it gets creative within it. And actually, I think there might have been more death in that movie than there was in this. Because
was there? I remember there was that one rat died.
Yeah, the weasel.
Was it a weasel?
It might have been a weasel.
Okay.
Either that or a ferret.
I thought it was a rat, but whatever the case.
For sure, he dies.
He died. Which is kind of weird. I remember the movie established Looney Tune physics with the electric fence stuff, but then later in the movie, someone dies of being electrocuted. What? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox. And they actually did give you a lead character who was supposedly already explained in the book, Mr. Fox, but they actually did to delve deeper into who he was and the motivations that he had and recognition of his failures. I don't like this lead character in chief, this dog, because even though he is
I wouldn't say he's the lead character.
For me, he's the lead because he's one of the main people, or one of the main living creatures that drives the movie. But he is likable. He is likable because of his understandable story and the failures that he had or his shortcomings. But for some reason, those are just turned in the blink of... For me, they're turned in the blink of an eye as soon as he just comes into contact with another human, as opposed to actually and as opposed to looking into himself and what made him turn into this beastly creature. But
he did. Did you miss all the times where he just said, "Why? Why do I bite?"
Well, yeah, I know it was explained with that, but what I'm saying is Fantastic Mr. Fox, they were able to dive deeper into a character that we already knew. For me, that wasn't diving deep enough into a character that we were just meeting. The potential that it had for me didn't reach up to what I wanted it to be, but still that didn't take away from how again, I don't want to go on record as saying I don't like this. I did, but I sort of feel during this movie that the same way I did when we saw Kubo and the Two Strings. Even though Kubo might be a little bit better than this.
Oh no, I can't say that.
You liked this way better?
Yeah, because this one is a good movie through and through, like from start to finish. Kubo and the Two Strings started off really good, and then everything took a nosedive into the shitter once Matthew McConaughey's character.
One character.
That's all it takes, because he's pushed into the forefront and he's annoying as fuck. He's one of the examples of a bad comedic relief, a really, really bad one. And yes, those do ruin movies for me.
Well,
the ending, I will say, Kubo and Two Strings was really good too. But like I said, Isle of Dogs is just the complete package. Everything in it for me works. There's a few moments here and there where I think well, that doesn't make much sense, or this, it's more or less just nitpicks on my part. I don't want to harp on them too much. because I really did enjoy this movie overall. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. Again, not to the extent of you, but I would still just recommend this in general for anybody who wants to just have a break from from every single fucking 3D animated movie that can be just that it can literally be shit out into a shit emoji and put Patrick Stewart's voice over it, and then you have a movie.
Yeah. So that's our recommendation. Isle of Dogs.
Absolutely. And well, we fought tooth and nail to see this movie fighting against
We were
Mother
supposed
Nature.
to see this movie yesterday,
Yes, we were.
but the world is ending, unfortunately.
Yes, because even though it's in the middle of fucking April, what is it, the 14th? Yeah, 15th. Yesterday was the 14th. So yeah, it's already halfway through April, which is supposed to be in the spring. And actually, for most people, spring starts in the middle of March, and they get to experience sunshine, and they get to experience looking at grass, and not having to constantly scrape off your car whenever you're trying to just go to the fucking grocery store. And why does Mother Nature have to try and be cruel to us? We're supposed to be Minnesota nice. We're nice people. We really are nice people. And this is how we're fucking treated? I'm not even kidding. It is still snowing outside. It's still snowing right now, and we have to take this shit. This shit is fucking us in the ass. You remember the line from Big Lebowski? Don't fuck a stranger in the ass. This is all we have to deal with. This is all we've ever had to deal with, because God just hates us. Look into my eyes.
Get that camera out of my face.
Sorry. I needed some Pepto-Bismol.
Welcome to Minnesota.
Yeah, and
You really make it seem like this isn't uncommon for us. Or this this isn't common for us. This is very common for us. Not necessarily to this extent. Admittedly, yesterday we were on the cusp of a blizzard. It wasn't quite cold enough for a blizzard, but the immense amount of wind and snow made it, we were almost there. And it's still going.
Still going, and before the snow even came, it rained, so literally our entire state was covered in a sheet of ice.
I mean, you didn't have to deal with, okay, imagine 4 cars driving over your driveway, in and out, and then having to snowplow it. It's like trying to move chunks of concrete.
But dude, trust me, I know that feeling. It is not good, and by God, I've just been constantly telling people, God hates us. This is proof.
Well, no, I think Mother Earth and God are in like some marital strife right now.
Absolutely.
One of them wants it to stay winter, and the other's like, let's go to spring, and they just can't decide. Keep in mind, before we got this fucking blizzard, it was melted completely. Like, we were flush with the ground and grass.
We were able to see grass for fucking once.
Like Zach said last week, it's like, I can't, snow fucking frozen over this goddamn wasteland, can't see the grass anymore. It's like, you thought that was bad.
Oh my God. But yeah, literally Mother and him are trying. Their house is getting raided by people saying, we want winter. And breaking down walls with tear gas.
One of the bridesmaids is performing public executions in the middle of their living room.
They're chopping up babies and trying to consume them for their souls, all in the attempt to get the glowing sun orb and put it back on display from Mother Nature's chest or whatever. I don't know.
Did you guys see Mother?
Yeah, did you?
I'm asking the audience.
Well, it was made by secondary hipster Darren Aronofsky. A movie made by a man who wears a lot of scarves. Which he could hand to us right now because we can fucking use them. But
So, should we tell them what we have planned, or do you not want to put that on camera because we might not follow through with it? There's a chance, there's always a chance with us something's going to come up.
No doubt, but I say we the ball is in our court and we roll with it.
All right, well, I'm not going to see Blockers. I know I said I would, but now I'm not, because if I do, then I can't complain about Marvel ever again. So,
due to a sarcastic comment made by his dad.
Well, sarcastic, somewhat genuine, and honestly eye-opening. So, instead, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a WrestleMania-themed night. I'm going to go see Rampage featuring The Rock, and you're going to go see...
Cock Blockers with John Cena! Beep-a-doop-boo! Beep-a-doop-boo!
And the funny thing is, I don't think there's a movie with John Cena in it that I like.
Well, okay, I did show you The Marine.
You did, and I hated The Marine.
I've rewatched
Not even as a good dick flick, okay?
No, I rewatched it. It's awful. It's so stupid, but it's a massive guilty pleasure, and it's actually like flashback movie to see. Well, to compare to I never want to compare Trainwreck to Marine.
Well, there's Trainwreck, there's Daddy's Home. What else has he been in?
Daddy's Home 2, he only showed up for like 15 or 20 minutes.
He was also in the sequel, wasn't he?
No, I saw the sequel. I didn't see the first one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but the thing that's catching on is John Cena can actually be a very competent and funny actor. But
not from what I've seen.
He was one of the only funny parts of Trainwreck. Okay.
That was more just because how much I hate the character Amy, not necessarily because John Cena's a great guy. I mean, okay, granted, we didn't get to see much of him in that movie, but still, I'm not gonna rush to see a movie because of him. Same with The Rock. Again, The Rock's not a bad actor.
Everybody fucking adores The Rock.
They may love The Rock. Okay, let's be honest. His charisma was part of the reason he was carried through his wrestling career.
That is very true.
So it's probably what's carrying him through his acting career as well. And like I said, he's not a bad actor. I don't think he's an outright bad actor, but I'm not going to rush to see a movie because of him. I'm only going to see Rampage because it's a better alternative to seeing Blockers.
Blockers.
And plus, I mean, I am the video game guy of this group. I'm a little bit more into video games than you are. And so I know Rampage, the extensive lore of Rampage.
And you're gonna be shitting bricks saying, "Oh my God, it's not faithful."
That was sarcasm, by the way. Rampage is a game about giant monsters breaking shit. Honestly, it's as simple, paper thin of a premise as you can get. So
and now you add in the fucking scientific.
In a way, it's ideal to make a movie out of that because you can do whatever the hell you want in it. But still, just. If that movie doesn't end with those animals turning into humans, like the lizard supposed to turn into a woman named Lizzie, and the wolf turns into a guy named Ralph, and the gorilla turns into George, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. And also, can I just say this? When I saw the trailers for Rampage, I honestly thought it was gonna be a remake of Mighty Joe Young featuring The Rock.
I would way rather see that movie, and not the original one that everyone loves. I'm talking about the Charlize Theron one. Just have The Rock in Bill Paxton's place and just try and tame this gorilla. That would be hilarious. I'd way rather see that than... Okay, yeah. Honestly, Rampage just looks like a dull action movie featuring a charismatic guy. So basically just like San Andreas.
Yeah. But like I said, I'd much rather sit through a bad dumb action movie than a bad dumb comedy.
Yeah. And, okay, I want to shit on Blockers, because everybody's saying that it's like, oh... It's the female Superbad. I've seen Superbad. I love Superbad. I might go down as saying it's one of my favorite comedies, but...
Haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
You might be 50-50 on it. But all of the advertising for this movie, the fucking the main trailers, and even just the general premise... They focused on the parents, the annoying fucking hip, cool, understanding how the kids work parents. That is cinematic poison once you try and go down that road, because then you're just making your characters marketable and trying to have your catchphrases go on Twitter. But yeah, aside from, and I don't know, the three girls that are in it might be funny. Everybody says the Indian girl in it is like trailblazing with her performance because it's, God, I don't know. But
now,
yeah.
is she Indian as in like actually Indian or Native American? Okay, so Indian. Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
And luckily I didn't want to actually say anything or people might get offended.
I'm just specifying because I mean when you work in Boy Scouts, we got this thing called the Order of the Arrow. They hammer it into you pretty quick. No, it's Native Americans, goddammit, not Indians.
Oh boy. We really don't like PC.
Well, to an extent. I mean, people have gotten so, I mean, nowadays anything can offend anyone, so what's the point in even trying?
Sort of, well, I don't want to be like ragging too much, but the girl in Isle of Dogs, she sort of played like a caricaturized version of that. But meaning of like no, hang on, the outspoken like the outspoken protester.
Right. What was she protesting? Them fucking deporting dogs.
Yes.
I would stand right next to her, and in fact, I would probably be a terrorist in that world if I had to.
No, you'd be the hacker sitting in the like. God damn it! I can't even.
Chair?
No, not swivel chair. That one Asian hacker kid who was just sitting in front of a computer.
Well, maybe, I don't know. But either way, don't you dare fuck with my dogs. I love dogs.
I love dogs too.
I hate cats. Cats are assholes. Dogs are better.
Okay, cats have your reputation to be assholes, but I still like cats, but dogs are better. I want to go home to my dogs now, even though they're little. Okay. Actually, I received a Snapchat from a friend of mine. We both know him. I asked him about he got a new dog recently, and he summed up literally every single pet owner's like main feeling about their pets. She's a little shit, but I love her so much. That's how you can describe any pet. They're a little shit, but you love them.
Yeah. Well, man, we went on a real tangent there.
Isle of Dogs was good.
Yeah.
We're gonna see shit next.
Yeah.
Drizzling, dripping shit. Or not. We don't know. We haven't seen them yet. But fuck it. We have opinions.
We don't even know if we're going to see them. We're going to try, though.
We're going to try because we are normal people who have jobs and families and shit to do.
Yeah.
But fuck it. We do what we want.
Hopefully the weather cooperates.
Fuck this place.
We'll see you.